Let's go. All right, yo. Welcome back to the Broken Roundtable podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, so obviously, no. Let's keep it going. I actually
Hold on. Is it not the MVP?
No, it's not. So I actually want to.
MVP or something.
So I actually want to address that fact. So on this show, sometimes you're going to hear us say Broken Roundtable podcast. So there's actually a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
We are obviously the Northern Black Voices podcast, but we're actually formally known as the Broken Roundtable podcast.
That's where we originate.
Now, the reason why I brought that up is because there's a story behind it. So for everybody listening, we've started talking about these issues over 2 years ago, close to 3 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Atu, he came to us and he said, what do you guys think about starting a podcast and having these conversations? So we as a group, myself, Okoloa, and Atu, we've been having these conversations for years. I would say 5, 6 years now.
Yeah.
So Kwaku joined us about 2 years ago in the group, but at that point we were known as the Broken Roundtable podcast. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was talking to a close friend of mine this week, and she asked me, she's like, hey, what's going on with your podcast? Are you guys good to go? So I told her about the rebranding. So she's like, oh no, what do you mean rebranding? What do you mean by that? So I'm like, we changed the name and we're going in a different direction. She's like, no.
She liked that name.
I really like that name and what it means and what it meant and what
Because it was deep to us when we first brought it up.
And what it represents.
Yeah.
So the Broken Roundtable podcast, when it started, it's because Atu, myself, and Okoloa, we noticed, just as I'm sure everybody watching and listening now notices, that there's a lot of issues in the Black community.
Yeah.
And we believe that there's something that can be done, and there's more that can be done for the Black community to prosper.
Yeah.
So the Broken Round Table, how the name originated, so broken is because we realized that there's a division in the Black communities worldwide. Not just the Black communities here where we're from, but in the United States, where we came from in Guyana.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a lot of different opinions and priorities, and there's nothing inherently wrong with having different opinions, of course, right? But we felt like there was too many, the lines were, it was too separated, there's too much of a
amongst us, amongst our people.
Exactly.
There's too much there that divides us.
Exactly.
As a people.
And the roundtable part, so the roundtable to us, well, to me personally, let me know if you guys agree or not, but roundtable for me represents strategizing, coming together, making a plan, and trying to get to a goal.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why we had, that's why we were called the Broken Roundtable before. So I explained that to her. The difference between Broken Roundtable and Northern Black Voices is one thing. We still want the same thing.
Exactly.
We still see the divide and the brokenness in the Black community, and we're striving for the same thing.
Yeah.
The reason why we rebranded and we went to Northern Black Voices is because, in my opinion, it's a more accurate representation of what we're trying to do, right? Because think about the name, right? Northern. So we're in the Northern Hemisphere. We're actually in the northernmost country in North America, Canada, and we're in North America. So we're coming from the north. So that's what the northern part represents.
Yeah.
Black, I mean,
it's obvious.
Look at us. But not if we're Black by skin tone, but we're also Black, most importantly, by culture.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, what I look at now, like from the book that I've been reading, the same book right here, the Construction of Black Civilization, is I'm realizing that Black, like you could say Black, we're all different shades. Black is more of an attitude. You don't think?
I agree.
Right? It's more of an attitude as opposed to like skin color.
Absolutely.
Right? And they brought that up in the book, and it got me to start thinking.
Right.
And I'm saying, okay, you know what? I think I more agree with that, because when you talk about Black, we're not Black shades. You know what I'm saying? We're colored, but not, you wouldn't call it Black.
But
so it's the attitude.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. So that's why I brought up the term culture. But
exactly.
In the outside world, like when
people see us, they see us, and
that's what
they
identifies us.
Yes.
And the voices part is obviously, that's obvious. But in case you were wondering, I believe that any type of goal, whether it's a project, work, or whatever it is, it's not going to be successful if there's not any communication. So that's what the voices represent.
And
so
again, the unity.
Yeah. So we're in the North. We're Black, and we're here to have a conversation.
Yes.
So that's what it means. You might hear us slip up and say Broken Roundtable Podcast, and this is why we still represent the same thing. So to my dear friend listening, the goal is still the same. It's just a different name. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right? So I just wanted to break that out before we get started, because we will slip up once in a while.
Yeah. Every now and again, you'll hear.
Yes, sir.
Broken Roundtable Podcast.
Yes, sir. So if you're looking at this video and you see the title, it's Black History Month, and that's what brings us together this week. So we meet every week and we discuss topics that are important in the Black community, and just so it happens,
Black history.
We are in Black History Month that we're going to talk about.
So we focus
Black
on
history.
it. Yeah, we focus on the Black History Month for a little bit, and see how it goes. So I suppose this would be like a 4-part series for Black History. So it's like 4 weeks. Wait, is it?
Yeah.
Is it full? It's not a full 4.
It is a full 4
February.
weeks.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, sir. Black
Okay.
History Month.
Yeah. So we have 4 episodes. So this is part 1 of the first episode of specifically catered to Black History Month.
Black History Month. Yes.
I would say.
That's the American mindset, though.
Well, is it the American mindset?
Well, when you look it up, it actually says that for the American United States, that's when it was created for Black History.
You're right, because we never. I can't remember ever having a Black History Month in Guyana.
No. But also, they also say that in Europe, and I think it's Italy, like Europe itself, they celebrate it in October.
Yeah, so the
They have
UK
Black History Month also.
On October.
Yeah, so the UK and Ireland, they actually celebrate. Not celebrate, but they observe Black History Month.
Yeah.
Well, they might celebrate. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they observe it in October. I'm not sure if you guys knew that, but so it did start off in the United States, and it started off as they wanted to commemorate important figures in Black history.
Yeah, and just get the history of our people.
Right.
That entered the Americas, if you want to call it.
Well, do they get the history of our people?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Wait, so what do you mean by that?
They only look at history from their points, like when it comes to slavery, the Africans that made it across to America, right? That are in America and the UK or what?
You say made it across like they took a voluntary journey.
No, when I say made it across, when they were brought across,
the ones that survived.
right? The ones that survived. Because people look at it in many different ways, man, right? Like people.
Wait, how many? Hold on. What ways? How many ways can you look?
No,
at
but I'm saying that if you from different books that you read, some people say, oh, they volunteered to come across this and that. There's a lot of ways.
Okay, you need to show me that book.
They're trying they're actually trying to change the narrative now.
Yeah.
I think I saw this a year ago where in one of the school books, I think it was. Is there a primary school here? It wasn't. I don't think it was kindergarten. It might have been kindergarten.
No, it could have been middle grade, elementary.
Yeah, elementary
school. Yeah.
They had in one of the textbooks it was a big thing going on either last year or year before the last, because in one of the textbooks they had blacks. They had a statement saying that blacks came from Africa as voluntary.
No way, I gotta see that book.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I might still have a picture. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. A lot of people interpret, well, not to say interpret it, but they have their own views, I guess, on how slavery may have.
But I think people are angry because of that, mostly because it's obvious that they're trying to change the narrative.
Right.
They're trying to get rid of this thing that they did to a group of people.
Right.
And so it makes you wonder, like, I remember someone asked, someone was telling me this, do you wonder, someone was saying the reason that they demonize us so much is because it's their way of justifying what they did to us, or what was done to us. So even us turn around and think that we did something wrong to deserve it. Mm-hmm. And I want that I want that to stay in people's minds, because when we talk about various topics, we're gonna see this little nuance pop up every now and again. It's like to justify the mistreatment that we've received, which is worse than any group of people ever received in history. We were demonized, and even we think that maybe we did something wrong.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
I think it's very interesting. But yeah, sorry.
No. I just didn't realize that something like that. I agree with that point there, but I didn't realize there was actually text that tried to say it was a voluntary trip. Sorry.
You know, I would say for the most part, we just know lies are constantly perpetuated. You know, by like.
By the European system.
No, absolutely.
Like, think about it. These two books in front of us, you could say it would be pseudoscience in the mainstream.
Right.
They are.
Yeah.
Right?
No, like, what do you mean? So, destruction of black civilization here. Like Chancellor Williams, I think he's known in North. He's he dedicated his life to African history
and research. And
this book is his life's work.
Yeah.
So is he not recognized as like a legit historian?
My point is, I think we would recognize him as such, but is he actually listed as such when it comes to going to school and learning about his story?
Because it's important for people to know.
And would they ever accept either book as a textbook in school?
Okay, gotcha. No, absolutely not. So I took a course called Black History in high school over here. We met in high school a while ago.
Class, or?
No, it was actually
they tried to make
it was a 1 month class.
They tried to do. They had a curriculum after schools that they tried to
Black history.
Right? No, absolutely, they did. So I took a Black History class in high school. I think I was in the 11th or 12th grade.
Yeah, it was roughly around then.
Long time ago. I'm an old ass nigga now. But what I remember from taking that course was that I learned a lot of stuff about Harriet Tubman. I learned a lot of stuff about the slave trade. They spoke about the transatlantic a little bit. The issue. So here's the difference between what I took in school, part of a Ontario school curriculum, compared to these books here, right? The destruction of black civilization, they're talking about Egyptian dynasties, like I think all 25, or I can't remember exactly how many dynasties there were. So they're going back like 4,000 or 5,000 years.
Longer.
Right? Longer. Talking about history.
100,000 plus.
Right? So the difference is that in high school over here in Toronto, they go back as far as like the slave trade or something
400 years.
400 years. And if you're a young kid going to school, you're under the impression that black history started around slave time.
400 years ago.
And there's no other history of our people.
I mean, I'm trying to even recall if that history was in my school. Like, I think the only time that, I got to learn about that stuff was pretty much grade 11, grade 12.
No, but what did you learn? Like, what do you remember? Because I only remember the slave time history.
They told us all about that, like the Underground Railroad. That was a big, you know what I mean, one of the topics that they brought up. But what I'm saying is, before that, I didn't really know much about any of this.
No, but was it taught? My question is, did you learn anything before slavery in high school?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think we had a conversation about that, and that led us to the library.
Right.
Looking for black or books about blacks that go before.
That's not slave related.
That's not. Yeah, that didn't have. Is that when we found it?
Doesn't exist.
I can't remember if that's when but we didn't find it in. I remember us going to a library and we didn't find anything there or anything that.
Because any public library too, when I go to look for some books, I can never find anything to do. With
I can't remember how. So. We got onto this, but I'm interested in know.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't remember.
No.
But another book that's like you're reading Black Root Science right now. I can't remember how I came across that. I saw something. And then there was a link to it that went somewhere. And when I
what, Black Root Science?
Black Root Science.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's another book. That's like that's a whole nother level type type reading, right? But the point of the question I asked is because they're leading us to believe. So why are they trying to lead us to believe that Black history only started 400 years ago?
Because if you show, I think I said this before in one of the other episodes, but why would they go further back? Because if they go further back and you start comparing what was to what is, they have a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, and they learn a little more about their people back.
No, no. I think they know about their people. I think the idea.
What do you mean by what was to what it is today? Like,
what I mean, like, because. So for example, were there airplanes before this civilization or this society?
Okay.
So if you push back to these periods, like 4,000, even more, 10,000 years ago, even further back, they have to demonize those periods or make it seem uncivilized, so that when you look at what we have or what we've accomplished today, it looks like a modern society. Yeah, it looks right. So then the narrative of them finding a bunch of savages or uncivilized people and bringing them over, have them work and civilizing them is a better narrative. Narrative, because you can't show what these people did before, because then you question, well, they didn't have prisons before. They didn't have mental institutions before.
Yeah.
They were uncivilized and they didn't have any of that. So what went wrong? What's the difference? Why were these savages, like maybe they were this uncivilized that they didn't care to have a mental institution or they didn't care to have a prison? But there were a lot of questions like that you'd have to ask.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you go that if they start letting information out that far back, there's too many questions to ask.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's gonna kind of trump everything that's going on now, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think you gave a mouthful there. Like,
Yes.
So, like, yeah, I just like to jump in and say, okay, so to start off, we know that, like, people like to believe that, like, actually.
Yeah, go ahead. Take
Yeah,
your
man.
time. Take your
However
time.
you need to put it, man.
Say it, bro. Yo, listen. So before we continue on this show, we're not gonna keep it PC. We're not here to offend any certain group of people. We're definitely not here to insult or offend Black folks, but we might say things that might come out the wrong way to other cultures and whatnot. But we're here to speak, and we believe these conversations are important. And we're not trying to offend anybody. I'm not sure if he's trying to say something offensive right now. But that's not our goal. Our goal is to have the conversations and try to get Black people talking about these situations.
Yeah, and to interject, we try to speak the truth, and we try to speak on what we know. And in my case, that will come across offensive a lot of times. And you'll hear me generalize a lot of times, but it is what it is. Like O'Neill said, we're not.
It's all good.
Like Negu said.
I was going to go in, but I'm going to drop that point and go off what he just said, which is like speaking our truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the best way to describe it is we're kind of bringing evidence, not really truth. I find that this distinction makes a lot more sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Because like, as my mentor once said, like, truth changes over time. We know with the COVID vaccine, they said wearing a mask, being double vaxxed, all that shit's gonna save you. That was supposedly true. But like now, as we can see over a series of months, and just we all know that like the truth has changed. And so,
right.
Instead of using the word true, I think a better way we're speaking of is we're bringing evidence.
Yeah, I like that.
Evidence.
Absolutely agree. And not just that truth changes, but truth takes the perspective of who's speaking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I write down a 9 on this table right now, right? It's a 9 to me, but it's a 6 to him.
Exactly.
So it depends on where you're looking at it from,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a 9, which is true, but he's like, nah, son, that's a 6.
Yeah.
Which is also true.
But that symbol can mean many different things too to different people.
And I like.
No, that's a good point actually.
I like what Kwaku
I was
said
gonna be like, what
because-
the fuck are you talking about? But no.
No,
Even with that
different cultures,
example,
yeah.
Right.
the truth changes with the same with evidence.
Yeah.
Right.
So and that's exactly what it is. Or someone's like, I remember I had this argument with someone, and he had a logical thought process, and so we were both kind of sticking our chests out at our logical thought process,
Okay.
right? So we're going along, and the topic was kind of
he's that type of person.
right. So and it got to a point where we both realized that there's information missing. And so my point is, a lot of people think that once you think logically, you just automatically end up at the truth,
Right.
Which is false, because missing information changes logic even, right? So it's like, so we got to the point where we realized that yes, someone's logic was flawed because they were missing some important information.
But that's hard though. When you guys actually came to that realization together, because when you're debating somebody and they think they're right, it's like,
how do you
I don't even try with them in that case.
We have no.
But that's
that
the importance
happens.
of the evidence, though.
That happens when I argue with religious people, which I don't do anymore.
Right.
I don't argue with religious people. I just pose a situation to religious people now. When I argue with other pro-black people, just talking about history and Africa, like then we pull information from elsewhere, and then it's usually always civilized arguments. It's not like bashing.
Okay, so you're talking about when you're talking to a specific group of people, like
It was in a Facebook group that is pro-black.
We see that battle, though.
To educate people.
That battle comes from like they're not willing to look outside the bubble. You're willing to take in evidence and like say you bring your evidence or your truths.
You're talking about religion.
No,
that's
even
like
with the religious people. I'm saying, right? Like you can bring your stuff, but I'll bring my evidence too, and you're willing to debate that.
No, religion doesn't go on evidence.
No,
I know they go on belief. That's what I'm saying. But whatever they believe.
No, it doesn't
That they
matter.
have,
It's like
that's what I'm saying, right?
they don't believe your evidence.
Because anything outside of the, not we're digressing, but
real.
we'll get to religion.
So religion will be a topic on this show for sure.
They're dying to get to. We are dying to get to.
It's like these dudes want to just jump out and cover it. I mean, it is part of Black history, so it fits.
Well, it's a big part of that.
You know what I'm saying? It fits. I saw a quote, I'm on the social media a lot. So I saw something today, a meme. I don't know if you would call it a meme, but in one of those pro-Black Instagram accounts, I can't quote it right now, but it says, I wish Black people would start loving each other the same way they love Jesus. We would be like,
Hell of a good shape.
oh my gosh.
I don't love Jesus, so it's not going to work for me.
But when it comes to those,
I get you though.
Don't answer that.
No, I'm not answering that. The irony in that quote is that the general populace knows that Blacks are very spiritual.
Right.
You know, and like that love for Jesus. Like if we could just come together and rechannel it for other purposes, that'd be a lot of difference.
Do you see Jesus in each other?
Do you find Christians religious people think that they're spiritual too?
Yeah, I think it's a form of spirituality.
It's part, especially all four of us. We're born and raised Christians, so we'll talk about where we're at now in another episode. But we all grew up.
You could tell.
We all grew up and were raised in a Christian household, and so we know that spirituality is, especially in Christianity, right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and all that jazz. So. Christianity is definitely a form of spirituality.
Hijacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like religion is what I meant. Religion is a hijacked form of spirituality. It makes spirituality easy to control, in my opinion.
Right. No, I kind of agree.
Something to think about.
Control the mind.
I kind of agree with that. But let's.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in on this, which is like. It's kind of on this earlier topic. It kind of keeps resurfacing, and so like we kind of just touched on it again. But long story short, it's about like civilizations, and we know that like barbaric civilizations often believe there's three types of civilizations.
Okay.
And so the first one's a barbaric civilization.
Okay.
And they often believe in superstition.
Okay.
You know, like they don't know why things happen, but.
Right.
They're very superstitious.
Okay.
And so then the next type of society, they're very religious.
Right.
They believe a lot on belief.
Right. So a deity. They follow a deity.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
You know, like, and then an advanced civilization would be one that like they believe they develop the math, the sciences, the technologies. You know, and so like it's not more so belief, it's more fact and evidence based.
Oh, okay. So you just listed 3 things. So you listed 3 ways of people explaining things.
Yeah.
And why things happen.
So
Exactly.
we're in an advanced society.
So like
According to that.
so pretty much this, which is like people like to say Africans are barbaric. You know, but
primitive and all that. Right?
exactly, but like yeah. So, but we know that like okay, it's kind of getting a little off topic, but
No.
we believe that like Africans are pretty advanced, and if you check like ancient documents, they often pay homage to African societies,
Right.
and like the books today often paint whites in good light and blacks in poor light.
Right.
And so, like, there's a funny quote which says, like, why would the people at the top of like classical civilization be the bottom of modern civilization?
Okay.
You know, and like it's them kind of changing the narrative. Like,
Right.
people are studying us so much that they know more about us than
Yeah,
ourselves.
we do. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
That goes to exactly why they won't let
Yeah.
what they
That's-
know about our history before slavery. They won't put that out there because then there's too many questions.
exactly.
You know, they do in ways, but it's just the way
Who
they hide.
doesn't
No,
know
like,
it?
I'm saying they can't lie. The thing is, they try to lie sometimes, but they have to use truth. Because even when he used the word prime, like sorry, when I was saying about primitive and prime,
Right.
is prime doesn't that mean like the beginning? You know what I'm saying? The
Prime means
first
what?
people,
Right.
right? Or so like that's what I'm saying. With
Could mean-
everything that they try to say and make us look like savages and this and that, it's like if you go back, the evidence is that we were first. There was, you know what I mean, civilization first before they were civilized themselves.
You know what, man? Here's the problem with that, and it's not a problem with the point that you made, but we read books. We read. I wouldn't call myself well read. This man over here is well read. I think you're well read.
I've started
picked up
these things now,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
I wouldn't consider myself well read, but I've read enough to know to not believe the lies of today that you speak of.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But guess what? Right, we're black. We take the initiative to go learn those things. But guess who doesn't?
Everyone else.
The rest of the
Someone
world.
else, Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with
Yeah.
teaching Black history in school curriculums where they're not telling real Black history.
Yeah.
Because if I never started researching and reading these books, I would think that our history started when we were brought over here, and
The lovely white people civilized us and taught
yes,
us
we were civilized.
taught us to crop the fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about that? It's funny that you mentioned that because doing research and reading, I realized that they brought over more than workers, right? They brought over people that were part of families, people that were elders, teachers, people that knew how to
Scientists.
read,
Yeah.
scientists.
They brought over
Again,
educators.
to help exactly
Educated people.
educate and civilize themselves.
Because why? Because that's exactly who they learned from.
Yeah.
Right.
That's who they learned.
Like,
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm just gonna. So a lot of people there's a misconception with the transatlantic slave trade. Like,
Right.
not all individuals were in servitude.
Yes.
Right.
So yeah, we just spoke about like just the early people that were exiled from Europe
Right.
happened to be like the Black Moors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were the scientists, noblemen. They were the ones that brought like more science and technology to the Americas initially.
Right.
But then when the transatlantic slave trade happened, they just lumped all Black people as one.
Right.
And that's where we've been like kind of like misunderstood in a sense, but Blacks pretty much developed Europe, and when Europe thought they could take control, they exiled them to the Americas, and they ended up on the plantations with everyone else.
Wow.
That's a
I
fun
remember
fact that
posing.
most people don't know about.
Yeah.
And
And,
that's-
and added to that, there were black people already here also. So
Exactly.
not every black person here came through slavery.
Through the trade.
There were already black people here.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
All right, Ukuala. Yeah, that's something to say.
I forget what I was. No, I'm saying. I remember before when we spoke about this before, and I was asking that question. Where do you not think that some of the elders, like, you know what I mean, in Black Roots or whatever, right? They didn't give out too much information to the people, to some civilization, because they don't believe they're ready for it, right? So in a sense, the more we advance ourselves, we are going to like destruction. Like, we're not going to go too far with it because there's like roots, rituals, this and that we don't know anything about. So even when we research,
right,
not all of this stuff is out for us. You know what I'm saying? We have to go deeper.
Well,
I find.
Well, I implore everyone watching and listening to make sure you go as deep as you can.
Don't believe anything we say.
Not just anything we say, but we take it with some research.
Yeah, no,
right?
absolutely. So here's the thing about this podcast, right? You know, I've said this before. We're not professional educators and we're not professional researchers. We're not journalists.
Yeah.
But we still have a voice and we still have stuff to say that matters, and we feel that blacks need to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're not here to teach anybody anything. We're trying to spark up a conversation. That's it. We're trying to join the conversation. We're trying to spark the conversation. We're trying to prolong the conversation.
Yeah, and the more I learn, is I would love to teach. You know what I'm saying? But the more I learn, I spread as much as I can.
Yeah. And
That's
you
how
know,
it should be.
Exactly. You disagree with something this dude over says about black Moors and fucking exile. You know what I'm saying? Just go out there and try to see and test it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Check it out yourself.
Just on that note, like, I would say a lot of us would know. Most of us know that, or not most. Some know some know the word Moor means black.
Right.
You know? Like, I think we talked about it in past episodes.
Right.
If you're Spanish, Moriña, Morito, all that stuff means black. If you're Hungarian, the word Mur means black. Like,
right.
There's just, there's a lot of evidence linguistically that kind of shows how the word Moor means black. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I would say go out there, do your research. Maybe it means black in your own language. So.
You think there's people contesting that fact? That Moors, I think like everyone knows Moors are black.
Oh, okay.
You think that's being contested somewhere?
I mean,
I think some people contest.
Somebody somewhere is contesting.
Yeah. You know, because like a lot of Moors are considered Islamic.
Right.
You know, so like.
Oh, I see.
So that's where an issue.
They might think it's
right.
Okay, I get you. Yeah. All right.
So here's the question. Because I've had this conversation with others outside of this group. Do you guys have a problem with Black History Month?
I have many problems with Black History Month.
Yeah. Oh.
I have many problems
so
because
we have a yes all the way around. Go ahead.
Again, it's just all the information that they give out. I'm saying there's a lot more to it, and then plus they're trying to like cap us at a month and telling us that we can only learn Black history around
Wait. Who told you that you only have a month to learn Black history?
I'm saying in school you always brought up that it's Black history is only a month.
Right.
Basically 2 weeks, but they'll give the month to us, right?
Right. And what, they cut it off? They're like, you're not allowed to go.
Well, in school, that's all you get, and then that's it.
Right.
Okay. Unless you're in a Black history class.
Unless you're in a Black history class.
Right.
Right.
So I asked if it was just February.
Well, you know what? There wasn't not a Black history class, but there was a program after school. In my schools, that's what it was. It was never a Black history class, but there was a program where we used to after school get together, and then we would do little things for like
through the school.
Plays. Yeah, through the school.
What was that, to keep you guys off the streets or some shit?
Hey, but to teach us about to teach us about it. No, this is
I can't put it in our curriculum, but we can do it after school.
No, but that's how
these motherfuckers keep going.
In military, not military. Sorry,
high school.
In high school is where
that.
Okay.
Right? Well, we all went to school in the same we're all from Toronto, right?
You guys have a class region.
No, I can't remember.
Ontario.
Okay.
So, okay, let's go. You say you have a problem with Black History Month. What's your problem with Black History Month, bro?
No, it was just a subtle jab at how we get the shortest month.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, that's funny. That is funny.
Yeah.
Why give us the shortest month? Like,
Why does it matter? You prefer a longer one?
Well, there's a hold on.
Well,
So
okay.
before we continue, there's a specific reason, right? So Black History Month, it started in the United States, and it was to honor, important Black people that made a contribution to certain things. So they realized
to
they're
white
like,
people.
yeah, they're like, you know what? Let's start acknowledging some stuff. Maybe we're ignoring stuff too much. And I think the first person they acknowledged was Frederick Douglass.
No.
And his birthday was in February. Who was it? Wasn't it Frederick Douglass?
I think it was, yeah.
Frederick Douglass was a part of it, but I forget the name of the other guy. There was another guy who he's the one who brought it out. Like he started with some kind of association. I can't remember the name of him though.
Alright, so while you look that up,
Yeah, let me
I have
get
that
that.
somewhere too.
so Negos is gonna look that up, and I'm gonna say why. Actually, I don't. It's not that I don't like it. That it's not that I have. Here's my thing with Black History Month. I think the positive is that people could actually use the time. People that take it serious could actually use the time to learn about Black people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if that's what gets people to learn about themselves if they're Black, or learn about us if they're not Black, then that's a plus, and that's
Right.
good.
Yeah.
For Black people, though, I would say that's the only good about that I see when it comes to Black History Month. There's so much that's hidden away for about us, from us, that a month isn't going to cut it.
Right.
That's because we're trying to learn it here.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Is that we're trying to learn about ourselves here in their curriculum, which
That's
they don't
the
acknowledge,
next thing.
right?
We shouldn't care what this system puts as Black History Month or Black people, whatever they choose to call it, whatever day they choose to give us. I think that's the jab. I think the jab isn't that it's the shortest month. The jab is that everything, a lot of things in the system, a lot of things we use in everyday life, a lot of things that we depend on in society is made by Black people.
Right.
Yeah.
preach.
So to throw a month out there and say whichever month they decided to go with, and say, let's show appreciation to Blacks, is like,
It's like a kick in the face.
yeah, like, what the fuck, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So Blacks built
America.
and you still to this day use a lot of the things that Black people created.
Exactly.
That was stolen from them. And the best they could do is not put a curriculum in school teaching true Black history. Just give us a month. And even the month that they put, they still put no effort into teaching during that month in school.
Right.
You see, and that's
No
I
proper
agree with
effort.
you.
That's my problem.
I agree with you because again, this is what I was saying. What I don't like to see is that yes, we do get the month, but it's learning about just America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
the
if
American.
you depend on the system, right?
Well, that's what I mean. The American heroes or whatever, right?
And who they think you should.
Exactly.
Right.
When there's a lot more behind all that, right?
Right.
So
So that's where. So here's my take on Black History Month. So it's probably going to follow a lot what Atu said, but I don't necessarily have a problem with Black History Month because for people that don't know, it might get their feet wet.
yeah.
Right? That's Black folks do not use that as an excuse. Your feet, you should be in the pool. You should be.
I know.
You should be soaking wet. You should be in the deep end. You feel me?
6 feet of water above you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because for the people the non-blacks that don't know anything about Black history, it might get your feet wet, and maybe
It's perfect for them.
It sparks a nice little curiosity.
Yeah.
Let's see what Harriet Tubman did. Let's see what Marcus Garvey did. Let's see what Martin Luther King did, or whatever. So it might get you in there. That's the reason why I don't have a problem with it. But on the other hand, there's always two sides, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's like Atu said, it's obviously not enough, right? I think Okuala said it. It doesn't do the black folks that have done so much for the world, not just America,
Yeah.
for the entire world, any justice. Because there's so much history. I think we probably have the longest and the richest history of any people
Yes.
on the planet.
There's no doubt about that.
That's not in question at all.
Right? So it's like, it doesn't do us any justice.
Yeah.
Right?
And then,
So for me, it's like a good stepping stone, but come on.
Yeah, it's for to add to that. I think you touched on it right there. It's Black History Month is for non-blacks.
Right?
Black History Month should not be for black people because you should be learning about yourself every day.
Yeah, and
There's too much to
We
read
should know
about.
way more.
that's the
There's
thing
too
too.
much.
When they as they give us the month, then they distract you with all of their history for the rest of the, you know what I mean, rest of the year.
Yeah, no. So you know what's
It is,
funny? The point that you just said. You know what? I forgot what I was gonna say. But here's what. Here's what Black History Month is to me in North America. Black History Month is another opportunity for corporations to sell to blacks.
sell.
Yes. Yeah.
To sell to blacks.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Because every February you'll see some Walmart shirt that says some crap, right? You'll see some. I don't want to name too many corporations, but they appeal to our emotions, and in the name of goodness, but they're just trying to make a dollar,
Trying to sell.
Yeah.
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Like to me, that's what it's turned into.
Yeah.
It's probably what it was started for.
Yeah.
Just give them a little recognition, and
I wouldn't be surprised. So did you find your buddy's name? Because I feel like Black History Month, the reason why it's in February is because of Frederick Douglass. That was the
That's what they're saying. Yeah, with Frederick
Yeah.
Douglass, but I think his
because
name.
he was born and he died in February.
Yeah, but that's what. It does say that here too. But
so
there's a
who
guy
is
named
Frederick Douglass? Who's this guy?
Frederick Douglass.
Well, he's an abolitionist, right?
Yeah.
He was against that slave stuff,
And
man.
he escaped the whole slavery up in Maryland or wherever
Maryland.
it was, right?
He was a black guy?
A black guy, yeah. What do you mean?
The name doesn't sound black.
Yeah,
You think I would be surprised if it turned out that the dude was actually white fighting for black people?
Yeah,
They put him on a pedestal for black kids. I would not be surprised.
But those
that's a very white thing to do.
It's because he took the slave masters' names of whatever, like, you know what I mean, whatever institution he was involved in.
Right.
So that's where he got those names, like the name itself.
Yeah.
But I believe the guy's name was Carter G. Woodson or
Who's
something like
that?
that. He was another guy. Yeah, he was another guy who studied for like Negro life.
Right.
Because like, Negro lives and what it really mattered. And I guess he brought the idea to Abraham Lincoln and them guys or whatever. And that's how this whole
Gotcha.
started, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
He wrote a book called The Black Negro.
The Black
Right.
Negro or something,
Yeah,
right?
in the book, like one of my favorite quotes, it says, "The most educated blacks in the 21st century will be the demise of their people."
So wait, hold on. Before we continue, there's other types of Negroes other than black Negroes?
Yeah, that's what I was still stuck on that one. Not Negro. Like, what? Who wrote that book?
Carter G. Woodson.
Carter G.
Okay.
Okay,
Sorry. I think it's Negroes. I might have misquoted.
Okay, so
Okay.
there's another book I need to
Or it's
get in touch
Negro
with.
History Week or something like that, whatever they call it.
Yeah, they also call it American History Month. Back in the
different
day.
names. Yeah.
Because remember, Black History Month, the concept originated in the United States.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think at first it was called American History Month or something like that.
That was all just to basically free slaves and tell their history of what they went through,
Right.
right? During, I guess, the Civil War and all that other stuff, right?
Right.
So,
So hold on. So Ukuloa mentioned something about names and taking on the slave master name. So
yeah.
that's a very important point in Black history too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
So Nagus is not my given name, right? That was a chosen name that I chose. But my name is very, it doesn't tie back to my black culture. Let's just put it that way.
But it's from the families.
My given government name. So
yes, exactly.
let's look at that history of blacks in North America, in this country. The names that we carry around
Are
like
not,
all of except my man Kwaku.
Yeah.
But actually, we'll get to you. But the names that the three of us carry around are European names,
yeah.
right? Our government names are European names. So if you go to a country like Ghana, where my brother here is from, or any Nigerian country, or Nigeria, or any African country, the sub-Saharan African country, I'm not sure you're going to hear European names of African people, or not too many.
No, you do, right?
Not too many.
Oh, okay.
Not too many.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is the same reason we have them over here too, right? You know, the system, the colonization system, but we don't carry the names that our ancestors carried.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like that's another way of removing us from our
disconnecting.
Yes.
We need to disconnect. Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I agree, but I would ask, what did we lose and how do we get that back? Think about it like this.
Okay.
If prior to the disruption that slavery brought to our culture and who we were, I don't know how dear we held our name, or I don't know. I think I'm putting that right.
Yeah, I can answer.
How important was it to us, and how do we get that back?
I have an answer for you. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just came back from Africa.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was MIA for a month. Due to that fact, and so I actually went to Cape Coast as it's a slave dungeon in Ghana.
Okay.
So it was one of the 4 departure points that Europeans used, and so I would say that very question you guys just posed was answered there.
Okay.
I would say as per them, and then what I've already heard, blacks from all over Africa were mixed and matched, and so because they were mixed and matched, you couldn't really speak with someone from your native tongue. So it was very hard for you to communicate with someone of your own.
Right.
And so because they were mixed and matched, blacks from all over Africa, it was very hard for them to speak the same language. And so when they did come over, when they were shipped across the Atlantic, they were even more subjugated, and they were forced to adopt whoever.
That was the British rule, though.
That's you know what? That's perfect, because that was my answer to that question. Because without knowing that, the answer for me was, what did we lose? We lost the ability to speak our own language.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you lose the ability to speak your own language or the language of your people, and you're subjugated to English, what they force upon us, there's no connection. The connection is severed, and I'm not sure what the reason was for Europeans to do that.
To disconnect.
You can't communicate. You can't unite. You can't unite.
There you go.
There you go. Them overboard.
So that's what we lost. So it's like you don't get to speak your own language because, like Kwaku said, you can't communicate because you're mix and match. Yeah. So we're gonna give you this language that you're gonna learn, and here's the name that you're gonna get. And fuck where you came from. Here's what you got.
Yeah.
So that's what we lost.
Yeah. So
how do we take it back? That's why we're here.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
Unless you got an answer for that.
No, I don't. No. My question was more not necessarily the language, although that does kind of answer the question, but not just losing the language, but what our name meant to us. Whatever it is that if there wasn't a disruption, you'd be growing up with a specific name that means something. A specific thing.
Yeah.
And we hold my current government name means nothing to me.
Yeah.
The only thing it means to me is when I hear it, I look around.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
I can answer that.
But I'm pretty sure that our name meant more to us before this.
100%.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So I know. I want to elaborate the question a little bit.
Yeah.
So we speaking for myself, I have no idea what that precious thing is that I lost. Right? So I don't know what bringing it back, what I might gain.
Let him have it, bro. Let him have it.
I would say so oftentimes what your name represented is where you come from. Mm-hmm. You know, it often had Africans use it as a you knew what tribe you came from.
Yes.
You know, it was a geographical reference in Africa, and so like by hearing someone's name, you kind of knew where they were from, what families they were associated with, and like, yeah, by just stripping one of that, like,
Just
You don't know where you came
just as we picked our names, our African names, because the only reason I chose Ukulua was because it meant fight in Zulu.
Yes.
And that to me right there actually meant something, because my name's Stephen again. To me, it was just a name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My mother called me, friends call me this and that. But then when I hear, if someone comes to me and they're like, Ukulua, I usually rise up and be like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like that I know what that means. And they know what that means. Why they're calling me that.
It's tied to a language.
Exactly.
There'll be one spot.
Right?
yeah.
Right?
And even like
And there's meaning. Yeah.
a two's name, like in my language, it's kind of like a greeting. It's like welcome.
There you
Right.
go.
You know, like,
Awesome.
But that's in what? In what?
In the Ghanaian language.
Tweet, yeah.
Okay.
What's it called again, sorry?
Tweet.
Tweet.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I touched down and like everyone's saying two.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what the fuck does that mean? Like, yo, I'm like, this is crazy. Like,
Oh, shit. That's lit, bro.
yeah,
That's
but
lit.
the world works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Guys. Yeah, remember my podcast? Like,
Yeah.
you just,
Yes, sir.
so.
Shit, I'll be spinning that, right?
It's like, what are you looking for? We're just saying
yeah.
welcome, nigga.
I asked that question mostly for, like I said before, I kind of want to pose questions that in a way that I think people should think about.
Right.
I want the topics to hit home a certain way. Like people should really think about things a certain way and understand the importance.
Understand.
And maybe get into looking into something. Maybe now you might want to go pick a different African name just to
Yes,
call
sir.
yourself amongst your friends or something, which I think is a positive.
And that's what we want to drive home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it could have been said a better way. And, you know what I'm saying? So, with that, I know, like this, like I want to go on forever.
Yeah.
But,
Well, okay, yeah. Well,
yeah.
okay. So is there something specifically we wanted to just quickly touch on for Black, or is that enough?
No,
Maybe
man,
just
I-
good.
Everything
Because
is-
I kind of feel like we
I
were
didn't
talking,
say
but we
anything
didn't
I wanted to say, but-
Yeah, I know we've been talking, but it didn't feel like we really homed in on.
No, but that's the
we
beauty of the
kinda know.
conversation.
Hold on a
That's the
second,
beauty
hold
of
on
the
a second.
conversation.
We talk about linguistic history.
Yeah.
When we touched on Frederick Douglass a little bit.
Yeah.
We talked about. What are you talking about, bro?
I don't know. It just feels
Check the
like-
tape. Check the tape.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys,
And we
are
brought up
good,
important
No, I-
names.
so-
We brought up important names in the American history.
No, let's go. What you
like
got?
what?
Like Frederick Douglass. There you go. That's in American history. There you go, Frederick Douglass. Right.
No,
Okay.
so Atu has something specific he wants to talk about.
No, not really. Like I said, I think if I was to do a takeaway now, it would be the same thing I said before.
Right.
You know, it's Black History Month. If you've never thought about, if as a Black person, you never really looked into your own history, you don't really know who you are, these books are really just starting points.
Starters, yes.
There's so much more to learn
Yeah.
about yourself and Africa before all this disruption. There is so much more, and if it takes Black History Month for you to start looking into stuff like this, and I think once people start, they're just gonna keep going. For anyone that don't really know much about themselves, once you start looking, it's gonna blow you away, and it's gonna probably lead you to hit Black History Month even more.
Yeah.
You see,
It's like-
it's to put an interest though, man. Because again, as we were saying, we never really touched it till we got a little older, right? To put an interest in the youths again, I can't stress that as much.
But you see-
because with them not knowing this stuff, they're not gonna want. Because again, Black History Month, you get the month, then they're subjected to everything else.
Yeah.
So they get distracted. You know what I'm saying? But it's that to want to learn more about yourself
Right.
Yeah.
is what I'm looking at, right?
Yes, I like that. Because one of the things that always comes to mind when I think about how useless Black History Month is to me, we really can't expect the colonizers to teach us about ourselves. In all
Of course
honesty,
not.
right? And we can't expect them. Like, shit, if they give us 2 months, I think I'd be surprised. So as much negativity as there is around, I think there's reason for it and there's good reason for it, but we really shouldn't expect
much from
these people that's writing the history that
Real time.
doesn't like us.
Writing it real time.
Exactly. To write good about us when they don't like us in the first place.
Yeah.
We really shouldn't be expecting that. So to cry about Black History Month being too short,
Right.
or not being enough, or being on the wrong month, I think as Black people we shouldn't even care about Black History Month. To be honest with you, I think it's only non-Blacks that should care about Black History Month, because maybe they could use that time to learn something about Black people. While we get together and learn about ourselves every day, and just.
And that's what we're doing on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I don't have much to say. Maybe you can wrap it up. But yeah, we gave you a mouthful to digest.
Yes, sir.
As you know, we'd be bouncing around.
That's what we do, man. But we try to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
In terms of sorry if I cut you off, but in terms of a takeaway, for me, I have 2 takeaways. One's not related to Black History Month, and one is. So when we specifically speak to Black folks and say we should learn more, there's no judgment coming from us, right? That includes us here at this table, right? There's a lot that I think I know, but there's a lot more that I need to learn, right? So when we say Black folks, we should be teaching ourselves, that includes myself. There's a lot more I need to learn, and I want to connect with my people and learn from whoever, not just whoever is qualified to teach me more, but anybody that's interested in talking some Black history.
Exactly.
Like, I'm down with it. Black culture, it could be about hip hop, it could be about religion, it could be about
All that
whatever it is you want to talk about.
All that ties in.
We're open to learning, right? We don't know anything. We just like everybody needs to learn, we need to learn as well, right? My other takeaway is about the name of our show. So we're formerly known as Broken Roundtable Podcast. We're Northern Black Voices Podcast now, and the name could have been anything. Could have been 4 niggas on the table, or Nubian kings on the streets. We still want the same thing. We're striving for Black unity, and we want to have these conversations with our people on a weekly basis, every day, and that's why we're here.
Amen.
Northern Black Voices.
All right, I'm reading this, so people read with me. Read with me. Go and look at these books and read with us.
This is just the beginning.
I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna have some Black Roots talk later on. That's
yes.
gonna take this shit to another level.
Yes, sir. And with that said, I want to thank everybody who's been watching, who's listening so far. We know there's interest in this show, so we're going to continue, whether there's interest or not. We're going to continue because we're very passionate about this. But thank you for listening, and hope you can rock with us for in the near future.
Yes.
Yeah, we might change the scenery in this bitch, but we're there.
All right, brand.